name is Zach, and welcome to another live stream. Well, really our first live stream of Assassin's Creed Unity. We're starting on the home screen of Xbox because I do need to clear my save data for Assassin's Creed Unity. If my voice sounds a little bit off, I actually had to throw away my old mic and use my older one. I guess it's really my newer mic and use my older one. This mic the mic I'm using is a little lower quality than the one I typically use. But I literally had no choice but to throw the old one out. It was actually damaged, as I found out. And I had to throw it away. And this is something that I realized was the case with in last live stream. We're about an hour and 45 minutes into the stream, unbeknownst to me. My microphone had an issue where it went from recording my audio perfectly to recording my audio on high-pitched squeaks. So I have no idea like why it did that, but it's clear to me that I dropped it one too many times, and what I mean by that is I frequently accidentally step on the cord that knocks it off my bookshelf or my dresser or my table. And that thing I dropped it too many times and actually damaged it. Let's go ahead and go into save data, and we're going to go ahead and clear away all of our save data. Actually, you may need to go into settings and do it this way. Trying to remember how you do this. Assassin's Creed Unity is really like the only game Assassin's Creed Unity is really like the only game where you actually can't start a new game. If you want to clear your save data, you have to see if this works. If you want to clear your save data, you actually have to delete it from the thing. So let's see if this works. Problem is my save data is saved to the cloud, so I may need to synchronize. If that works. No, it did not. That did not actually do it, so how do I clear my save data? Go into settings again. We need to go into storage. Let me actually try and back up because there's something that I missed. I don't know how to clear my save data. Home, select my games and apps. I just did that. It didn't work. Let me try specifying this Google search. I need to figure this out. I thought it would be something as simple as going to the games and apps, deleting your save file that way. Let's see if this works. I'm hoping this actually did fix it, because deleting Rebirth should delete it from the cloud as well. Sorry about this. It's got a little bit unprofessional, but whatever. Please work. Please work. Hallelujah.
The past is not lost. The past lives inside us. Encoded in the double helix are the experiences of our ancestors. After 3 decades of research, our engineers have forged the cutting edge of biotechnological interfaces. We have unlocked the lives of our forebears. We have opened a window into the past. This is Total Immersion Entertainment. With the press of a button, you will experience the most pivotal moments in history. All from the comfort of home. Welcome to Helix, where the past is your playground.
Now this is a huge cop-out. I really wish that you could go back and just play these. I always thought it'd be kind of cool. You can kind of get an idea of what like most of these will be about. Like Murder and Levant is obviously focused on Assassin's Creed 1. Fear and Loathing in Florence is clearly Assassin's Creed 2. Assassin's Creed, presumably this actually focuses on Haytham Kenway, so presumably either the prologue of Assassin's Creed 3 or maybe even a prequel to 3. Starting up to the Borgias may very well be Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Emperor's Shadow is clearly Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. Liberation of Lady Evelyn is clearly Assassin's Creed Liberation. Devils of the Caribbean, Assassin's Creed 4. I have no idea what Hell and Hibernia is supposed to be about, Jazz Age Junkies, or even the Bladed Cross. But this was something that I really wish you can actually go back to, because I always thought it'd be kind of cool if you could just go back and like play these memories that are locked. But the only one we have access to is the Tragedy of Jackson Malay. Let me actually go ahead and test something real quick. So I'm actually going to mute my mic for the time being as I load this. I'm going to unmute my stream.
Last of the heroic Knights Templar, Jacques de Molay was a man of principle, a towering intellect, betrayed by those he trusted. In this episode of Fallen Heroes, experience Jacques de Molay's final tragic hours through the eyes of one of his closest friends and advisors.
Okay. As we get a moment to pause, we are actually going to enable subtitles. I just don't have the opportunity to do it right now. Or up until this point.
Who goes there?
A friend of the temple.
Fluarak. The Council's message was absolute. You're not welcome here.
I must speak with the Grand Master.
He's in session. They all are. Another day, perhaps.
King Philip disagrees.
Damn you, man. Why you're not rotting in a cell at this moment, I cannot fathom.
We are betrayed. Draw your swords, men. Defend the temple. Not you, brother. I have a different task for you. Come with me.
Seriously.
King Philip.
Let's go ahead and go into options, sound option. One of the things we're going to do is disable music volume, turn that down to 0 to avoid copyright. Other thing that we're going to do is we're going to set the subtitles to on. And now that's taken care of, we can proceed as planned.
It's moving faster than we expected.
Another hand is at work here.
The Pope?
The assassins.
Assassins? I thought the Mongol Khans broke their power decades ago.
The assassins are far older than Masyaf, my friend. Their anarchic delusions are virulent as the plague, and less easily eradicated. We will not prevail this night, but if you make haste, we may yet save our order.
What must I do?
Go to the tower. Take the sword and the book. Hide them. They must not fall into the assassin's hands.
Grandmaster,
Go!
I will.
I would like to make this perfectly clear right from the beginning. I have never beaten this game before. Oh, and the combat feels really smooth. I've never been in this game before. I've only gone as far as Sequence 5.
Dad! I have to take a different way.
So it'll be kind of nice to see how things progress. The only mainline Assassin's Creed game I've never finished. So there's definitely going to be moments of rust, but I hope that I'll get better as I play along. Get back here! I realized he parried my attack. He countered my attack, so I couldn't hit him. I was waiting for him to attack me so I can parry him. Not bad. Codex Pater Intellectus, a father intelligence. Wonder that's a reference to the father of understanding. Probably is.
Pope Clement, hear me? Before this year is out, you will answer for your crimes before God Almighty. And you, King Philip, no punishment is too heinous for the great evil you have inflicted upon the temple. I curse you! Curse you to the 13th generation of your blood! You shall be cursed!
Consumed in flames of hunger and wrath, thus came the age of true wisdom to a blistering close. The Knights Templar, once the proud shepherds of order, peace, and illumination, were no more.
Yeah, let's get a sniffer running. If Abstergo pings us, pull me out. Okay. I have a visual. Hey there. This is probably disorienting, so I'll be brief. I'm Bishop, not my real name, obviously, but that's as much as you'll get today. Please listen carefully. Abstergo is using you, hijacking your neurons to help them sift through genetic memory data. These guys have their fingers in countless corporations, governments, media outlets, and NGOs. But now, they want control over history itself. If that doesn't frighten you, it should. But we're here to stop them, and I need your help. Deacon, preload gene sequence, AD16, B13, I87.
Yep, spooling it up.
Last week, we gained access to a bank of unsequenced memories in Abstergo's Helix servers. For now, we'd like you to experience a small sample. This should help you understand our struggle. And after that, you can decide for yourself what comes next. We'll be waiting.
Arno.
Can't I go with you, Father?
Courage, my boy. You wait just here. I will return when this hand reaches the top.
That's forever.
Not as long as all that. And when I get back, we'll see the fireworks. And Arno, no exploring, hmm?
Yes, Father.
I love Arno. So,
This way. You'd rather sit with that old prune? Come on.
this is probably one of the more... This is probably one of the introductions that sounded the most to me. Out of any Assassin's Creed game.
Just you wait till the guards get here.
Quickly, quickly.
It's very rare that you get to see like an origin of Assassin from his childhood. The only other time I can think he did this is actually from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You saw what happened to Cassandra.
Bet you can't steal one.
Thief! Put that back! Got you now!
Ah, hell. What happened? These are for His Royal Highness, not the likes of you. Do you know what the penalty is for stealing?
Probably death.
Put that away now! You dare disobey an officer of the peace?
This guy is actually giving me a lot more trouble than he should. I'm actually going to wait for him to lose me again, and then hopefully he'll walk away. I'm just going to wait a little bit. There he goes. Don't actually have eagle vision yet. Hey, there we go. Usually that guy doesn't give me as much trouble. It's just,
Hurry.
chalk that up to rust.
Did you see their faces when we stole those apples?
I'm Arno.
Elise.
I'm here with my father.
So am I. He has important business with the king.
What should we do now?
Shh. Listen. Don't worry, they'll never think to look for us in here.
It was my fault. I'm the one who took the apple.
Let's see where they're going.
Hey.
Hurry, something's happened.
Monsieur Franklin, I sincerely hope this unfortunate affair does not darken your opinion of our nation.
Monsieur, if we judged nations by the character of their
Elise.
criminals,
Father?
we should all be called barbarians.
Come here, girls, now.
Father?
Barely make out Elise's father in their cutscene. He just kind of disappeared. Cutscene triggered.
Come away, boy.
Anno. Anno. Look at me.
Can't win fairly at cards, so you stoop to thieving, you bastard!
Calm down, Victor. I've only come for my watch.
It's my watch. I want it fairly.
Well, in a just world, Victor, I would agree with you, but this is not a just world. This is France.
You're a dead man.
Oh, step lightly there. You'll hurt yourself. I just had a nice chat with your brother.
You go. Fetch the marshals.
Hold on a minute. Diable.
I've got it, Victor.
For this optional objective, we need to pass under and over objects 5 times.
I say.
Sorry. Pardon, madam.
Get out of my way. Move it.
Gentlemen, please, we can come to an understanding. Please, excuse him, he's not housebroken.
Okay. There you go.
Thick-headed blacksmith like you probably can't even read a watch.
Come over here and say that.
No.
Get back here! Au voleur! Emparez-vous de lui! Right here.
Keeping up? Shall I call a break?
I'm with you. Get him! I'll bring you down a peg. Ha! Supper!
Let's end this merry...
Get down! Somebody gates! Get over here! You can't escape, citizen!
Il est resté trop longtemps à la taverne.
Yeah, I need to lose these guys.
I'll slow you! Stop! Face justice like a man! Got you now!
There we go. First mission 100% synchronized. Wow. I actually am gonna wait here a little bit for the health regen. Actually, no, I don't think it does. I think I actually need medicine. I'm actually just gonna wait for the notoriety to go away. There's a leap of faith here, and there's ASAC. So I should mention this game will be played for 100% completion. We are actually not going to worry about clearing out certain districts until after we get to sequence 2. That's unfortunate. We're actually gonna wait again for the notoriety to go down. Fortunately, since we literally just left, our, what's called? So we just got out of, like, getting notoriety, the guards are more alert to us, so.
And where in God's name have you been?
Ha! Got you now, you little shit!
Just a little misunderstanding. Nothing to...
Your master's harboring a common criminal. In broad daylight, he broke into my home and stole my watch.
Did he indeed? Well, I'm sure the Marshalsea would be more than willing to sort this out.
Sort what out, Olivier?
A most serious accusation against your ward, sir.
He robbed me.
Of what, precisely? Wait for me in my library.
That little smug smile. That's funny.
Don't give me that look. Victor cheats when he plays Pharaoh. Everyone knows it.
Arno? Who are you talking to?
No one, monsieur.
You'll be happy to learn I persuaded Olivier to leave off calling the Marshalsea. Again.
Je vous remercie, monsieur.
What is this? The 6th time? The 7th? Perhaps a new hobby might be better for your health.
Well, I find playing cards affords many opportunities for fresh air and exercise.
We'll talk about this later. I have business in town and must collect Elise before I can attend to it.
Elise is here?
Only for the night. She returns to Paris first thing tomorrow.
She'll need an escort, won't she, with you so preoccupied?
One of you running amok is quite enough. Remain here and see if Olivier has any chores for you.
I'm sure he does.
What was that?
Give my regards to Elise.
Oh, that's funny. Emery 100% synchronized. Okay, so there is actually one thing I do want to go over. Now that we're actually in the modern day, we're in modern day. Now that we're actually in the open world and we're not in gameplay, is actually go over my overall plans for 100% completion for the series. So starting off, we will of course be getting 100% synchronization all main missions. We will also be getting 100% in all achievements, all paradise stories, all Paris stories, and all miscellaneous collectibles. We do not have access to co-op missions or pair stories. We won't have access to them by Sequence 3, but in addition to that, we will be getting all achievements. That's funny. Oh, you know what it could be? It probably counts the enemies I killed and the Jackson Malay mission as a heavy weapon. That's actually interesting. I didn't know that would track. But let's actually... Now that I think about it, let's actually go over the achievements list that we have yet to unlock. We actually already unlocked a few of them already from my previous playthrough. So the ones I unlocked was assassinate 100 enemies, complete 10 crowd events, complete sequence 4, complete sequence 3, complete Nostradamus Enigma in Paris, solve a murder mystery in Paris, complete memory sequence 2, complete memory sequence 1, and a long time ago for completing the prologue. If we were playing as a fresh file with fresh achievements, we would have already gotten the achievement a long time ago, but we already got that. Let's actually go ahead and look over the achievements that we have left to get. A lot of these are actually kind of locked off for the time being. But just going to go ahead and hover over each one, and you can just go ahead and pause and see which one we can unlock. I will say we will be getting every single achievement in this game. I was a little bit worried that I wouldn't be able to do the co-op missions because some of the co-op achievements require multiplayer. But apparently the co-op missions are still active. You can still play co-op missions with your friends or someone you meet online. It's just the problem is with that is you may need to do like a roundabout way by disconnecting your Assassin's Creed, your Ubisoft Connect account for this thing in order to connect to multiplayer. I don't know why that is. I don't know why that works. But apparently it's a fix for being able to connect to online. We can actually be able to connect to another player's multiplayer through co-op when you're on the title screen. If that happens, I will be trying to quit out of that. Last thing I want is to find like someone else who collects a collectible in my world. So that's actually one of the things I want to try and like focus on and want to try and like figure out to do is how to disable co-op for the time being, because I don't want to accidentally go into someone's world. I don't want someone to accidentally go into my world. So first thing I'm going to do when we get to this area is we are actually going to try and disable co-op for the time being. Once we complete the main story in this game, we're going to put this series on hiatus while I try and do offline the co-op missions and highs for the base game. Then once we complete them all, I will be, by the way, all this stuff is actually, from, the Dead Kings DLC, like, from Defender of Francia onward. I will be putting the series on hiatus just to focus on me recording footage of, the co-op missions. There's one final thing I will say is that when the co-op missions are done, we'll be doing 100% of the main story. Trying to figure out how this works. Is it maybe turning Joan and Progress silhouettes on? I don't know. Maybe out of my control, but we'll see. But yeah, we're gonna put this series on hiatus until we're actually able to so that I can record footage of the I think it was called. So that I can record footage of my brain is fried. Of the co-op missions, and I'll be able to stream again once I complete all of them, once I show myself getting all of them, and then we'll just do Dead Kings DLC, and then once again we'll put it on hiatus for me to the new co-op missions.
Thrown out onto the street yet?
Oh, you would love that, wouldn't you?
It'd break my heart.
Olivier, if I weren't here, who'd do all your work for you?
The horses need brushing, boy. Get to it.
Certainement, monsieur.
Sire de la Serre, wait! Nom de Dieu. Nom de Dieu, nom de Dieu.
Some trouble, mon ami?
A letter for Sire de la Serre. It's very important.
Oh, calm yourself, Perrault. That letter won't reach Monsieur de la Serre any faster if you drop dead of exhaustion. Give it here. I'll catch him.
He must receive it today. It's very...
Very important. Yes, I heard you the first time. I'll see that he gets it.
Monsieur de la Serre! Stop! Make way, make way!
I will say, I've been told many times that Assassin's Creed Unity has the best traversal of any Assassin's Creed game. I have yet to actually fully experience this for myself, but I do appreciate it. Everything just does feel to be running smooth. I do appreciate that.
Monsieur de la Serre!
Mes excuses. Wrong carriage. What I need is a bird's eye view.
So as per usual, this series is actually going to be functioning the same as my other Assassin's Creed series on this on my channel. But I'm actually going to be going over the database entries, but only on YouTube, and these entries will be read by myself after the end of the series, after the end of the stream. It'll be only on YouTube, as I said before. And as I also said before, will be the first time I'm beating this game. So this is also the last Assassin's Creed game that I never actually finished. So this will definitely be an interesting experience to me. City looks stunning. That's all I'll say. God, look at that. It's so beautiful.
There you are.
Oh, there it is. It can always be so difficult for me to try and find the haystack.
Not here, you don't! Move off! No arguments, move! Don't get it in, boy. If I find you in dereliction of duty one more time!
It's I love the density of the crowd in this game. That's another thing I like about this. It's just, it feels very alive to me. So we actually don't have any optional objectives yet.
Ce passage-là est bien nécessaire. Faut savoir, tu as déjà évoqué ce point par ailleurs. Mais tu t'es engagé auprès de moi. Écoute, la salle est présentable, madame. Messieurs, votre père avait contracté une dette auprès du mien. Vous devez l'honorer. Comment a-t-on pu en arriver là? Tout Bourbon, qui croyez-vous? Il a transmis. Comment a-t-on pu en arriver là?
I'm actually kind of curious to see how this series will go. Again, like, I never really gave this game a chance when it came out. I really only came back like a couple times sporadically throughout the series. I'll be lying if I am not the slightest bit curious as to as if I will have an easy time or if I will enjoy this game from beginning to end.
Tirer une nouvelle force et qui peut offrir à la nation une nouvelle source de bonheur.
Where the devil are they?
C'est encore acté sous mon règne. Une guerre dispendieuse mais honorable en a été la cause.
Do not see any highlights yet.
Et a rendu insensible leur inégale répartition. Une inquiétude.
Maybe it's further up ahead.
Les innovations se sont emparées des esprits et finiraient par égarer totalement les opinions si on ne se hâtait
I don't know. There's gotta be something I'm missing. I don't see him down there. It's also kind of stupid how I can't. I don't see him. You would highlight as a gold marker.
Dans les dépenses, des retranchements considérables. Vous me présentez. Avec empressement. Mais
I don't know where he is.
que peut offrir l'économie la plus sévère, je crains, messieurs.
Yeah, he would appear as a gold marker, but I don't see him.
Que je le désirais. Je ferai mettre sous vos yeux la situation.
Maybe he is not in here,
Vous me proposerez les moyens les plus efficaces
but down there maybe?
pour y établir un ordre permanent.
No?
Et salutaire ouvrage qui assurera
Oh, there he is.
Finally.
Et sa considération
Not these two
au
again.
dehors
Must have tailed me from
vous
the estate.
occupera essentiellement. Les esprits sont dans l'agitation. Mais une assemblée des représentants de la nation.
So, who or what will take its place? Another king? A council of capable men?
That is the question, isn't it?
A truce, then.
What the devil was that about? Now, we can resolve this without recourse to violence, can't we?
Get him, Hugo!
I suppose not.
Get him, Hugo!
I don't know. Oh, we already got it. Okay. I didn't see that.
Easy, big fella. You can't take no rich old man to stop. Think you can steal from me?
There we go.
Not your day, is it, Victor? To your health, gentlemen.
You, boy! Stop! What are you doing there?
Running!
He's getting away! Too slow!
God damn.
Powder blast!
I'm getting back in there now. Catch Fetch them back at home, I suppose.
And we got 100% sync again. Believe it or not, like my first playthrough, I didn't actually get 100% sync in that. I wasn't really that concerned with being completionist at the time. It's kind of more meant to be like a typical Let's Play. Those are actually easy missions to 100%. I think what we're actually going to do, we're not going to go after any of the collectibles here, but what we are going to do is synchronize this other viewpoint, and then we'll do the main mission. We kind of have like a lot of the area locked off to us for right now, so can't really do everything until we get to Secret 3. Even then, there's some stuff that's locked down in story progression. I've been enjoying this game so far. Really kind of a shame that I didn't really give this game a chance when it came out. Probably would have really enjoyed it. When this game came out, it came out at the same time as Assassin's Creed Rogue, and initially I played Rogue at launch because I heard that it took place before Unity, but I never actually finished Rogue until the remaster came out. I actually got stuck on the main mission, as I talked about before when I covered my Assassin's Creed Rogue playthrough. But and also never finished this game. I think when this game came out, I only got as far as let's actually go ahead and check. There's actually a really easy way. I came back to this game twice. So this game came out in about 2014. So last time I played this game, first time I played this game, I should say, was on December 4, 2014, and I came back once on February 6, 2015. Then I came back again at, what was that? January, February, March, April, May, June 9th, 2016. So I just came back here, like, it came to this game like 3 times. I never actually finished it, so. This game, for those curious, this game that I think I'll complete on my channel unless something happens, I think it will actually be Stardew Valley. We'll see though. Because I'm actually very close to the end of Stardew Valley. I will say my feet are actually hurting right now. I've been actually feeling like a consistent pain in my ankle, my left ankle of all things. My dad has actually been concerned that it may be arthritis. I have a history of arthritis spanning like 2 generations. My grandpa had it and my dad had it. Or has it, I should say. My grandpa actually died in 2018, I believe. So, my dad is the only one that has it. And they both have it because I have something called the B27 gene, which is a gene that is more that makes it so that you're more likely to get arthritis in your life. It's very possible that I may have it as well, since both my dad and my grandpa had it.
Bonsoir, Olivier. Has Monsieur de la Serre returned?
Senor de la Serre is not expected until late.
Ah, well. I suppose I'll just pass the time with Elise, then.
Don't get your hopes up just yet. Mademoiselle is at a private soiree in her honor at the palace.
A party? I wasn't invited.
Neither were the horses.
I'm sure she just misplaced my invitation. I'll find my own way in. How late is late?
Perhaps an hour, perhaps 3, perhaps not at all. I do not question the comings and goings of my betters.
I'll just wait here, then.
Hey. Is it over here?
Le traité du monde et de la lumière de Descartes. Never could get through that one. I could just slip it under the door. He'd see it the instant he returned.
I actually never interact with these bookshelves. I wonder what else he says.
Les tragiques. Too depressing.
There's one more thing we can interact with. We're not gonna look at the chest. I could have been people maybe get OCD from seeing me pass on all
Mémoire
this.
de Monsieur d'Artagnan. Elise's favorite.
I just wanted to like read through this. We're gonna say the collectibles until we get Secret when we're able to do everything.
Hop, hop.
There. Safe and sound, and only slightly delayed. And now, to the palace. I couldn't sneak through a sewer in these threads, much less a ball. Here, here, mon ami. Let me take care of that.
Well, thank you, young man.
I thought that outfit was actually pretty snazzy. Maybe not like royal ball material, but a lot better than how I dress. This, on the other hand, is definitely an improvement.
Maximilien Robespierre. No guest.
Arno. Le Chevalier du Télème.
Invitation, s'il vous plaît.
About that, I had one, of course, but on the way...
No invitation, no admittance. Now clear the queue. Next, please. Charles Gabriel Siver. 2 guests. Next, please.
Quite the turnout. Quite!
Okay, so we don't have an optional objective yet? Okay. Okay. Still nothing. Let me actually look at progress checker. Yeah, we still don't have anything for it. There is an optional objective for this for not getting detected, I believe, or staying out of combat. But we don't have that optional objective yet, but we will soon.
Let's just put in a short appearance to be polite. I'm tired.
As you say.
Yeah, that actually could have gone a lot worse, but we made it through.
Little doves fluttering around.
I'm actually, oh, I actually passed it. I didn't realize I actually passed it, so that was actually my bad. Not paying attention to the mission marker. We're also doing like a weird roundabout climbing thing, but it'll lead us to it anyway. I am being adventurous. You gonna move? Let's see what he does. It's a good thing I waited. I probably could have gone then, but now I'm gonna wait. Being extra careful.
You up there! Stop! Get down!
Will you let me back in if I do?
What? Certainly not!
Well then, if it's all the same to you, I think I'll stay up here.
Classy.
Come here!
I'll see you in the garden later, yes? Of course.
remember the last time we were all together like this. It must have been that business with,
And I would thank you not to speak of that.
Madam.
Huh.
M'accorderiez-vous cette danse pour gentilhomme?
Merci. Un autre jour.
Rejected.
For sure, the plebs would riot this afternoon.
New taxes are not a word of concession in the matter of representation.
Do you see what she's wearing?
Spread out. What do you expect? She's half silk.
I'll not be made a mock of by the likes of him.
Hey, at least.
She always did love the chase.
Can't run yet.
You seem to have caused quite a commotion.
Well, what can I say? You were always a bad influence.
Oh, you were a worse one. Are you wearing one of my father's suits?
Are you wearing a dress?
Don't even start. I feel like a mummy wrapped up in this thing.
Must be quite an occasion to get you so fancy.
It's not like that. Truth be told, it's a lot of ceremony and pontification. Dull as dirt.
Well, when you don't invite me to your parties, everyone suffers.
I did try, but my father was adamant.
Your father?
Go. I'll distract them.
What? You're kicking me out?
It's complicated. I'll explain later, but for now, out the window.
Oh, no, no, no. You're not turning this into a repeat of that apple orchard.
Stop being such a baby. I'm sure there aren't any guard dogs this time. Go!
I like Elise.
Oh my! That wasn't the billiard room at all, was it?
Could have been on party duty, but no.
Waste of time. There's nobody out here.
And we still don't have a... Oh, we actually do have one. Don't get into conflict. Okay, good. You gonna turn around? I don't know what he's gonna do.
Who's even going to come out here? 10 to 1 I end the night cleaning a rich man's vomit off my shoes.
What's your game then?
Technically, we weren't in combat.
You all right, monsieur? Too much of the king's champagne? Monsieur,
Monsieur de la Serre! Monsieur de la Serre!
Sivir, come away! Guards! Help! Murder!
Mon Dieu, he's killed Lord de la Serre.
And we get 100% synchronized. Nice. So we should have 100% sync for sequence 1. First one sequence down, about 12 more to go. This next sequence only has two missions, so it should be relatively easy. Why does it let him have violin in prison?
It wasn't me! Damian wielded the knife! Please, have mercy!
Gaia est omnis divisa in partes tres.
They're killing us! Oh God, have mercy! They're killing the prisoners in here!
That's enough of that, you degenerate!
Where am I?
In hell.
Killing everyone! Oh God, help us!
What are you staring at, pisspot?
Got a lot of entries to go over. To you.
Welcome to your new home.
There's one other thing we can interact with. You can actually do this multiple times, but I'm only gonna do this once.
Hello? I must speak to someone!
Yeah, different interactions. At one point, Elise actually calls out to Elise, but I just want to progress.
No! Not the hot irons! Please! Anything but that!
I hope the violinist isn't playing something copywritten. I'm hoping I'll be safe, but we'll see. Sounds like something that is actually a song that exists, and if that's the case, the stream may be flagged or may actually be muted because of Twitch's copyright thing. It's not in my control. I actually have music turned on at 0, as you saw earlier on.
Where'd you come by this, pisspot?
I'm in no mood for this. Give it back.
Take it back. If you think you can.
Fight! Fight! Fight!
My grandmother eats harder than that. She's Belgian.
Let's go!
Well struck, pisspot. See if your defense is as good. So much effort for a broken antique.
The only broken antique in here is flapping his idiot jaw.
Say that again.
I've nothing more to say, old man.
Perfect parry.
Give me what's mine, and go back to your crazy drawings, old man.
Drawings?
These here. Everywhere. Scribbled like chicken scratches all over this cell. Where?
Come here, you little pisspot.
Get your hands off me!
Look at the wall!
What are you doing?
Concentrate. Concentrate.
What are they?
Messages from the past. I had myself thrown into half the prisons in Paris in search of these. What's your name, boy?
Arno. Arno Victor Dorian.
Dorian. Of course. Pierre Belec. I knew your father.
Bully for you.
He died at Versailles. In what? 76? 77? December, as I recall. No witnesses.
How did you...
Your father was an assassin, Arno. He gave his life, fighting for the liberty of all mankind. You stick with me, you might just live long enough to join the Brotherhood. Honor your father's memory.
Listen, I'm sure your little cult is a delightful bunch, but I'm not interested. The only thing I care about is finding Elise.
How are you planning on doing that from in here? Hmm? Again! Ow! Focus, pisspot!
What the hell is going on out there?
Citizens are restless. Keep an ear open. Opportunity might just come knocking soon.
I hear singing.
That was cannon fire.
Sometimes opportunity sounds a lot like cannon fire.
Secure the prisoners!
Follow my lead. We haven't got all day.
Prisoners up against the wall. On whose authority?
I told you this was going to end badly.
Silence! Stay back! Prisoners up against the wall. Stay back!
Did they let him keep his hidden blade? Is that what it's on?
Right. Let's get out of this shell.
Okay, so there is... We need to do perfect parries of smoke bomb evasions. It doesn't say how many.
Keep them off me for a bit, pisspot. One of them stabs me.
Lovely disappearing trick. There you are! Don't lose the bastard!
There we go. We should have him sync now.
Belek, is the door open?
Not quite.
We have a problem.
Find a solution.
Lovely.
Train in use.
Not through. Stay on him. Any time now. The legs, aim low.
Come on, pisspot. Put your back into it.
They don't really need to heal yet.
Any time now.
You've got to be kidding.
Got it! Let's go, pisspot!
Resting. Go down in.
actually need to wait for him to climb up because otherwise he'll knock you off the wall. One thing I dislike about all Assassin's Creed game is when you're having to follow someone, they often like kick you down if you're too close for some reason, and I'm assuming it's the case here.
This way! Fire! Fire, damn you! Stop the prisoners! Hey, you! No! Run yourselves! Prisoners! Rip you, pieces! Throw down the weapons! Stop right there! Drop your weapons! Shit! Take him down!
Oh, we're actually already done. I thought there was another
Brilliant. And how do we get down again?
enemy.
Trust me.
I surrender! I surrender!
What are you waiting for, Pisspot? It's time to jump.
What? Prison scrambled your brains, old man.
Drink took care of that a long time ago. Now get up here!
I can't, that's impossible.
Impossible? That's the purview of every assassin boy. If you can pluck your head out of your own arse, come find us. You'd make a great fit. Goodbye, Pisspot!
You! Back away from the ledge!
Merde.
It wasn't responding to my input for some reason. I had to match it. Oh my god, probably one of my favorite openings of the series. I love this scene so much. Like, the opening only triggers, not for the first main mission, but from doing your first leap of faith after like impressing the assassin. That's just interesting to me. Such an interesting opening. Got to know Arnold's character, we got to know his struggles, personality.
Please? That's some welcome.
One can't be too careful. But after what happened,
Elise,
haven't you done enough to repay my father's kindness?
Elise, please. You can't believe I killed Monsieur de la Serre. Your father, he wasn't the man you thought he was. Neither of our fathers were.
I know exactly who my father was, Arno. And I know who yours was. I suppose it was inevitable. You an assassin, me a Templar.
You?
Does that shock you? My father always meant for me to follow in his footsteps. Now all I can do is avenge him.
I swear to you, I had nothing to do with his death.
But you did.
No. No! By my life, I swear I didn't. Is that?
A letter intended for my father the day he was murdered. Read it.
Grandmaster de la Serre, I have learned through my agents that an individual within our order plots against you. I beg you to be on your guard at the initiation tonight. Trust no one, not even those you call friends. May the Father of Understanding guide you. L.
I found that on the floor of my father's room. Unopened.
I didn't know.
Neither did my father.
How could I have known?
Just go. Please.
That's that sort of thing is what I call a victim of circumstance. it wasn't solely Arnold's fault that he wasn't able to deliver a letter. He wouldn't have been able to like get into that event that Mr. Del Serra was in, and though he was able to get in there, but he kind of got attacked by people that were against him. So I don't really consider like Arnold to be a blame. I think it was just kind of more like a victim of circumstance. It wasn't in his control. He tried to deliver his letter, but he couldn't.
The devil is this supposed to mean?
Okay, so there is one thing I do want to check. You did get 100% sync and Synchronized 1, that's nice. Did get 100% sync in the first mission. Let's actually go ahead and do this last main mission. As soon as we can open the map. Actually can't. I'm also gonna wait for this thing to go away. Because we have a lot of database entries. As soon as I press back to open the map, it's just gonna open the database, and I'd rather not do that. So what we are going to do is go into this area, synchronize this viewpoint, synchronize this viewpoint, and synchronize this one, and then we'll do the main mission. Apparently the area that we were in, I didn't realize this, but the area we were in was actually called the Versailles, was actually Versailles. I didn't know that. I've only really been to Versailles once in open world. So that's something we need to keep in mind. We're only going to go as far as completing sequence 2 today, so in other words, we're only going to go as far as sequence 3 before we're going to do some exploration. I just want to unfog the map we're in. And also it would be helpful to get some fast travel points. I will say, it is always so fun for me to be able to like traverse rooftops in Assassin's Creed games. There's some games where traversing rooftops is not as easy because of the roof guards, but I'm glad that you're able to do it in this game. I really love traversing the rooftops in all Assassin's Creed games. The only thing you couldn't really do that is Assassin's Creed, the RPG games. Because the buildings are only so high, and I think the highest points you can get to is like in city, like in specific like large cities, like in London, for example, in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or what was it called, Athens in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and to an extent you can also do this with towns like Thebes and Assassin's Creed Origins as well, but again, like, the buildings are not really designed to be like traversed over. A lot of the buildings are only so high, so. And honestly, in the RPG games, I think it's actually better most of the time to like traverse the streets. It's kind of a shame. Only really time I really take the rooftops in RPG games if it's actually faster to go over a roof to get to a location rather than just taking the streets itself. I did not want to do that. If we could talk about like what the mission we just did was, one thing I do love about this game is the fact that because it's focused on the French Revolution, I absolutely love the fact that you can actually see historical events like the storming of the Bastille. That's one thing I do appreciate about Assassin's Creed games in general. It's like when you see historical events and how they play on the story, it's fascinating to me. It's also kind of interesting to me, playing this game from the beginning. It's kind of caused me to... Wow, that was weird. I was actually turning the camera around. For some reason, I was thinking that my joystick had a control over the synchronization thing, so that's kind of my bad. It's interesting to me, just the things I just kind of pick up on a repeat playthrough. Things I didn't really notice before that I'm noticing now. No! Stop! I can't skip this? If it does it to me again... There we go.
Il doit chercher à impressionner votre gauche. Celui-là, le mariage.
Allô, qui n'a pas sa gazette? Vous aurez appris les dernières nouvelles avant tout le monde dans la gazette.
Those newspapers are a type of collectible in this game. I will try and collect every single one of them, but there may be some I'm missing. Looks like there's another one over here. As well, I pick this up now. I don't really consider this to be a collectible per se. It's not actually something that's tracked in the database. But it is something that I do want to pick up when I see it on the map, because it does add things to the database, but it doesn't add things to the progress player. So, database entry is technically, again, like all the database entry, is technically not required for 100% completion. But because I like to do things that most completionists don't like to do, don't often do, I should say. I do want to cover them when I can. So if I see a thing on the map, a little journal, a database entry, I will of course be picking it up. But I will not be noting it in timestamps of Assassin's Creed on YouTube, but I will be collecting them all for the database. I saw that name Cité, and immediately what came to mind is a song, "When the night comes down in the city." I don't know why my mind went to that song. I'm assuming that Cité is French for city. It would honestly make sense if that was the case. It would honestly make sense if that was the case, but I don't know if that's actually true or not. It also wouldn't really... It wouldn't actually make sense because for a district to be called city, because it's the entire city of Paris is city, is literally another word for town, large town. I don't know if that's actually stop. Can't climb that. Oh my god, the fact that you can hear the bell from Notre Dame, that's awesome. Alright, here it is. Here's where we can climb up. Arnold? One thing I do appreciate, I remember hearing, I don't know if this is actually true or not, but I remember hearing at one point that apparently, I don't know if this is true, but apparently there's a fire in Paris that actually damaged the Notre Dame Cathedral. And again, I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently, damn, I didn't want to do that. Apparently, the architects in restoring the cathedral actually used Assassin's Creed Unity's recreation of Notre Dame as sort of like a guide for rebuilding it as it was, which I think is also pretty freaking cool, just how influential Assassin's Creed is, if that is actually true or not. Well, it's just, this game is widely praised by the fans as one of the best. The main problem that I have with this is I didn't give this game a chance when I probably should have. When this game released, it was riddled with bugs, and it kind of deterred my enjoyment in this game, even though I didn't really encounter any game-breaking bugs or bugs that just affected my immersion of the game. It's just the fact that a lot of people were responding to this game negatively that affected my enjoyment of this game when it first came out. That and also the fact that I didn't really understand how this game worked, and I didn't bother trying to learn the new system it introduced. Like, they completely overhauled the parry system in this game, and they which I didn't actually like when I first started, and so, because they overhauled the parry system, because it couldn't be as simple as holding right trigger and pressing X to counter kill, I didn't bother to learn the new combat system, and oftentimes when I got into combat, I just mashed X to victory, and oftentimes it got me into trouble. I'm taking this moment in this playthrough to actually do something that I just haven't done before in previous playthroughs, which is actually taking the time to actually learn this game and actually enjoy this game. I'll spend more time enjoying this game than I would have otherwise my first playthrough. And I'm actually enjoying this game a lot more, if I'm going to be honest here. Simply because I'm giving this game more of a chance.
I suppose a simple address would be too mundane.
Toi, citoyen, n'en fais long sur ces affaires. Je dis vrai. Tu verras que ces révolutionnaires auront compris.
I think where we need to go is up here. That was easy.
Took you long enough, pisspot.
What is this place?
The Sanctuary. A place we can train and prepare, away from the eyes of our enemies.
Didn't we just escape from a dungeon?
It's not a dungeon. It's a nerve center. From these tunnels we can get anywhere in the city, all without being seen. We have eyes everywhere.
Really? Seems visibility would be a problem. Wouldn't you prefer something with a view?
This place has served us well for 600 years, pisspot.
Mm-hmm. And how long were you standing in the dark waiting for me?
Not long. Guillaume spotted you from the bell tower.
Well, it was quite the entrance.
Are you mocking me?
No, no. God's truth. Very theatrical.
Shut up. We're here.
I love Arnold's personality.
Candidate will approach. So, the son of Charles Dorion returns to us. Belek thought you wouldn't come. What changed your mind?
I'm tired of running from my failures. Monsieur de la Serre, my father. I want to make it right.
The death of Grand Master de la Serre weighs on you. Why? Did you wield the blade yourself?
Does it matter? The blame still lies with me.
إن ذنوبه تكل كيلاي. هل أنت متأكد من؟
أنا كذلك. إنه قادر على مواجهة المحاكمة. سيكون جيدا.
Very well.
Out of the dark, you come into the light. From the light, you will return to the dark. Are you prepared to travel the Eagle's path?
If that's a fancy way of asking, do I want your help? Yes.
Then drink.
I was saying there will be music at this point, but I have music disabled, so that's why it's silent. Will it be an Ubisoft game without a trippy without an acid trip?
Hello?
Can't I go with you, Father?
Courage, my boy. You wait just here. I will return when this hand reaches the top, and there is to be no mischief.
Father!
Where is that boy? I'm certain I told him 6 o'clock. We should be well away by now.
Father, it's me! I'm here!
I love this mission, it's so cool. By the way, there are no optional judges for this, you can just take your time and enjoy it. Well, I never died in that part.
Father!
Where is that boy? I'm certain I told him 6 o'clock. We should be well away by now.
Father, it's me! I'm here!
Okay, let's actually do this right this time. You're supposed to avoid the fires, I just couldn't really... The first time I noticed... The first time that I noticed it can speed up. When you're sliding, so I was... doing that for the first time, so... That's actually not what happened. If you play Rogue, it's a little bit more smoother. I love this mission so much. It is so cool. I just have to wonder what the other side of this looks like. What are the assassins watching normally?
Unopened.
I didn't know.
Neither did my father.
If you can put your head through the roadhouse, come find us. May you find fit.
Truly, I am blessed to have such a loyal friend.
These are the words spoken by our ancestors, the words that lay at the heart of our creed.
Stay your blade from the flesh of the innocent.
Hide in plain sight.
Never compromise the Brotherhood.
Let these tenets be branded upon your mind. Follow them and be uplifted. Break them at your peril. Rise, assassin. Arnaud Dorian is dead. He has been culled from this world, his sins and failures turned to dust. Tonight he is reborn, a novice of the Assassin Brotherhood.
Welcome back. Now that you've experienced life as an assassin, are you willing to take up the fight and join us? Deacon, load the file.
Coming up.
We lifted a media file from Abstergo last month, and the information it contains is astounding. But we won't share these things with just anyone. By pressing play, you'll be joining the assassins. If you want to fight the Templar menace, if you're willing to save civilization from Abstergo's clutches, press play, sit back, and ready yourself for the truth. Good choice. Welcome to the Assassins, Initiate.
Level 5 security clearance only. I didn't read the rest of it. Baker Mandel, Albrecht Castle, couldn't read those.
In the 1950s, it was theorized that human DNA worked via the triple helix model. Some years later, the work of Crick and Watson demolished this theory in favor of the double helix. Today, we know the double helix to be indisputably the basis of all life. So why did the triple helix theory gain so much traction? Why did Rosalind Franklin's X-rays seem to confirm it? It turns out that their initial samples had been taken from small traces of precursor DNA, the rare genes of an ancient race embedded in our own. We now know that triple helix DNA is the foundation of the precursor genome. It is the genetic Rosetta Stone of our age. If we can crack it open, if we can sequence the full precursor genome, there is no limit to the knowledge we will gain. Using Animus technology, precursor history will be open to us for the first time ever. ancient languages will be unlocked, and ancient technology will be ours for the taking. Imagine what will be possible if we master the technology that underpins the pieces of Eden. Such discoveries would surpass 100-fold the splitting of the atom. Last year, we located a rich sample of precursor DNA in a donor whose genes contained human and precursor DNA at an incredible 25-to-1 ratio. Our work will begin with this sample. Our goal is to unravel the triple helix, sequence the precursor genome, and change the world for the better, forever. Welcome to the Phoenix Project.
All right. Interesting how they're trying to sequence precursor DNA.
So, this is where we stand. Last year, Abstergo acquired the body of a man we call a sage, one of a rare breed of humans with a surplus of ancient DNA. This sparked a search for more sages, in the present and in the past. The more Abstergo finds, the closer they get to their final goal. We've blocked their recent attempts to find more, but Abstergo will not stop looking until they sequence a full precursor genome. So, why Arnaud Dorian? Why chase an assassin through the French Revolution? It turns out, at some point in his life, Arnaud came into contact with another sage. We need you to find out when and where these meetings took place. If Arnaud was present for this sage's death, it might lead Abstergo straight to his body. Naturally, we'd like to find it first. This is where you come in. It won't be simple. Genetic memory must be tackled in sequence to keep the data stable. But we're confident you're up to the task. And you won't be alone. Other initiates, assassins just like you, are doing their part to end this fight. If you need more training, more experience, you can call on them for help. All right. Loading the next sequence.
Check it out, we got new robes.
I've got something else for you. The more time you spend with Arnaud, the more data we'll have to increase your synchronization with him, and to activate his abilities. Here, have a look at this.
Acid abilities unlocked. Before we get into this, there's something that I do want to check real quick. Because I had issues with my mic in the past, I do want to test my audio once again to see if my mic is still working. Okay, it's good. So we have set range weapon. And first thing I'm going to do is get apprentice lockpick. Locksmith, I should say. The other thing I think would be helpful for me to do is get double set. Oh, we actually can't. Environmental blending could also be good. You can't get apprentice journeyman locksmith until sequence 5. Considering getting environmental blending, I am also so there's two skills I'm considering getting. One thing I do want to get, actually, and I think about it, is I want to get an increased health. So this is actually what I'm going to get first.
One last thing. While you've been busy, I had Deacon do some poking around in Arnaud's memories. Seems he was a busy guy. See that symbol? That's a co-op mission. I play a lot of games multiplayer. I don't know about you, but I thought you'd like to mix it up a little. These are missions Arnaud ran with his assassin buddies, so they'll give you an idea of what our organization's about. Just walk into the glitch and you'll get all the details. I've marked them on your map.
Okay, so we're actually not going to do that. What we are going to do is actually 100% like try to get as much collectibles as we can, and clear out this entire area. Another thing we're going to do while we're kind of on our way traversing is make our way to the shop and get a bunch of lockpicks. I have a lot of training to do. We're also going to do all the training we can do. We're not going to do it just yet. I want to focus on exploration. I'm waiting until the thing goes away for me to see if I unlock the, okay, time up. There's a lot of shit, a lot, hold on. What I just did was a crowd event, there we go, 1 to 5. Let's also go ahead and check our character customization, gear loadout, equipment. I was kind of thinking about Peaceful Tales. This is what I had in my first playthrough. I'm actually gonna see if there's another variety with red that has black in it. Looks like the only other one is Peaceful Tales. It's fine for now. It'd be nice if I had like black as a main color, but red as a secondary color. That's kind of more something that I would have wanted to have. I did not actually like, when I loaded in my previous save a couple days ago, I did not actually like the fact that it was solid red. I thought it was kind of jarring. And I wanted something a little more interesting.
Bonjour, mon bon monsieur.
Ami, on cherche à s'informer. Par ici. Par ici. Eh, je suis là, l'ami. Viens, te dis-je. Tu dois lire ça. Moi-même, je n'y croyais pas.
Also, something I saw over here, it actually looks like it may have been another newspaper. Yeah. Let's actually go back to the shop. I just want to see if there's any treasure maps I could buy.
Bonjour. Soyez.
Goose?
Demandez la gazette du jour. Non. Une somme impressionnante de faits relatés dans le coup pour moi d'une bouche.
Okay. Nomad chest. Let's deal with these. Up, down. Another database entry. We'll have a lot of entries to read after this stream is over. Oh, there's another collectible I didn't see. I need to remember to do that. Another collectible here over here. I grab this first. Should be a cockade. No idea what a cockade is, I just know the name of the collectible.
Un acrobate, c'est comme ça. Bienvenue dans ma boutique, mon ami.
C'est que j'ai d'autres livraisons à faire, moi.
J'en ai pas conscience, crois-moi.
Mon Dieu, ce sac à vin me fait perdre mon temps.
Calme-toi, voyons. C'est bien trouvé une solution.
Hey. Actually take a look at this area because I get the feeling there's going to be a lot of collectibles mixed in here. You're not. See. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Some that we're missing. Take a look around. As we can't get anywhere here.
Même particulièrement hideux.
Rest in peace, anyway.
There now, want to talk to you? I'm sorry.
Stop.
There now. There now, want to talk to you? Whose side are you on then? Who are you fighting for?
Here we go. Another crowd event done. I don't know what you get from these. I don't think I ever completed a full set.
Il va se faire mal.
It looks like it is on the floor below. Or it could be up above. Let's go up above first.
Vous ici. Dois-je appeler la garde?
Okay, let's go and grab these two. Here's another one. How much does this cost? It would make sense for there to be some collectibles down there. I've never renovated a social club before, so... This actually may get us achievement. Yep, there's achievement. See, there's one there. We're missing a lot. Unless this underground location leads to collectible. A lot we're missing.
J'imagine que c'est dangereux.
You're not going anywhere. Keep your hands off me. Toi, arrive tous sur la fiche. Oh.
Hello.
Whoa, what the fuck was that? That's interesting. Looks like it's above. Nope. I need to remember how you climb in the window. No. There you go, it's left trigger. I always forget. Go to this underground entrance, see if there's anything that we could unlock in there. This chest on the right side. Oh, there's a cockade. I think we checked. Chest on the right side is actually in the other district.
don't deserve this.
Waste of space! He's no fun at all!
Look at him now, in the dirt. What do you want me to
Not
do?
gonna get up on your
Hoarding
feet.
food.
Come on!
You had it.
Get up! Not much fun, are you?
Are you?
You're planning to crawl away! Go on then!
They're supposed to,
See how far you get!
you're supposed to draw your weapon to scare them, but Arno's not doing anything. I'm mashing X.
Come on, come on! Not so tough, huh? Get up and run! Just what you deserve. You show that belt!
No more than you can. Yeah, on it.
How do you scare the bullies? It's not doing anything. I'm pressing X. Oh, you hold X. That's it. You hold X. Just go back to Twitch. I see you. I thought I saw you. Really bad this. There you go. A whole B to loot. Where is this cockade? Up there? Oh, you know what it could be? It could be underground. That may be just playing something underground.
What's the password?
Ooh. Actually can't do that yet. There we go.
Hey, hey! Stop there! Vous devriez...
Hey, loot. Let's go ahead and do some collectibles. Let's go and do some missions, I mean. First things first, first thing we're going to do is this murder mystery. I always love these murder mysteries.
If I get my hands on you, I'll rip your bloody eyes out, I will!
I will be right back. Hold on. Sorry, my dog got out, so I had to help my family recover our runaway. My dog is, my dog is probably the most friendly dog ever. You're more at risk of being licked to death than you are being attacked. She's just kind of an idiot. She's like a ditz.
That's 3 times this month.
I gotta eat. You gotta feed me. Works out.
Shut it. What do you want?
A lot of crime going on. Need help?
I've got things well under control, thank you very much.
What about all the murders you never solve?
I said shut it, Vidoc.
Think about it. He solves them. You get the credit.
Tell you what. Solve a murder, I'll give you a weapon out of the bin. Meanwhile, I have more important things to do.
Hey! I know the streets. I can help you out.
Why would you?
Because that stinking stupid pig of a police minister doesn't have the stinking stupid sense to do anything that might give even a grifter like me hope that someday, this city might not be a shitty place to live. And because I'm bored out my bloody mind.
Oh, for the love of God, Vidoc, shush!
Okay, so we actually had to wait for this thing to go away for me to read this. In full disclosure, I'm literally the worst at figuring these things out. One time I did this, I tried to follow the clues, I tried to use my own intuition, and I literally chose the worst freaking person, and I realized I made a mistake, and I couldn't go back and fix it. So, my dogs are freaking barking right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this crime, try and figure this out on my own. And at the end, once I find all the clues, once I have all the suspects, I'm going to look up the solution after I make a guess on who it is. And if I'm wrong, I will acknowledge that I am wrong, and I will tell you who the person actually was. So there's going to be a little bit of intuition in me trying to figure this out, but I will be double checking to make sure that I don't arrest the wrong person like I did my first playthrough. There we go. If you want to solve crimes, you can't just wander in and throw the first suspicious person you meet in jail. Well, you can, but you'll almost always get the wrong person, like I did. Look, you're going to have to get serious and have a comprehensive system to sort out who did it. why, and how. I'm going to make it easy for you and list of basics right here. Read those over and go out and nab the murderer. Everything you discover will be kept in a case file. Look there to review what you've learned. Examine all clues, speak to all witnesses, use your eyes and ears. Some clues will lead you to new places. Don't be lazy. Go there and look for more clues. Review the case file, use your head. What suspect had the ability, means, and motive. When you know that only one suspect could have done the crime, return to the murderer and accuse him, Eugene Vidal.
Something kind of creepy about monks. Closed up like that in a big building. Sometimes that's hard on people. Better check out the monastery here on the island, though.
Yeah, let's go. Actually, go ahead and check out this case file. Oh. Actually doesn't tell us anything. There's one thing I will say, believe it or not, despite me having trouble with these, I actually do like these murder mysteries a lot. It's probably one of my favorite things in this game, and I'm really glad they continued them in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And there's actually something that I did want to discuss. So, I've been actually noticing this for a while, and last time I brought this up, someone watching my stream just said, hey, and essentially don't do what I've been considering, but it's just, I've been actually noticing this for a while, that I'm finding it really hard to grow on Twitch. And I've been considering switching platforms for a while now. And the last time I brought this up, someone said, oh, you should like do this more, you should do this, blah 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 blah. We'll get an audience that way. Oh, something happened. And well, like, a really easy way to grow your following on Twitch is actually not a way I particularly like.
You got this, minnow! I'll rearrange your bloody spine! Come here!
It's... There we go. A really easy way to grow your channel is actually something that I just didn't really, I don't really care for. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're not gonna get that. You need like a higher lockpick skill in order for us to get that. But what I was gonna say is there's a really easy way to grow your channel, and that's by streaming the higher viewer categories. And the higher categories are games that I just have no interest in playing. And every single time I bring this up, everyone always says the same thing. Every now and then I get someone who joins me and just say, why are you playing this game, and no one watches it. I like to play games that I am interested in playing. I don't want to be forced to like play a game just for increase in popularity. And that's something that I noticed that was actually problematic with, I'm actually going to pause to finish my thought. That's something that I think is problematic with live streaming on Twitch, is it favors games that are most popular rather than games that people actually would find more enjoyment playing. And there's actually been a couple of solutions. I've been keeping an eye on the streaming platform kick.com. And I've been keeping an eye on it, trying to see if there's any categories, when certain categories open up. They actually, for a long time, they actually didn't have Saints Row 1. Which is a game I'm planning on streaming in the future, available, but now they do, but they still don't have Sims 3 Pets, which is a game I'm currently working on right now. I am really considering switching over to Kick and seeing if it's easy for me to go there, but alternatively, one thing I am considering is streaming on YouTube. But I haven't decided if I want to do that or not. But I am kind of considering switching platforms, and I think it may be easier for me to grow on a different platform than it is on Twitch, but we'll see. A dead monk, Friar Jean, strangled with a strand of rosemary beads. He appears to have fallen from his chair while writing at his desk. Property of Friar Jean, personal effects, also at the bottom of the chest, a single page. Torn from the books, the 7 branches will be reduced to 3. The elder one surprised by death, the 2 seduced to fratricide. The conspirators will die as they sleep, Nostradamus. An older monk lying dead in his bed, his features are sallow and his face is ashen gray. An older monk lying dead in his bed, same description. And same description. Personal effects, I've noticed an enormous book filled with intriguing quatrains, the prophecies by Nostradamus.
Dear Lord, Friars Stanislas, Bernard, and even the respected Friar Benoit, and then Friar Jean, all dead. It passeth all understanding. 3 monks survived, praise God, but I dare not think. Is it possible that the murderer is one of them? Ah, ridiculous. Which of them would be capable of such an atrocity?
Okay, let's go down.
So much happened. First, the death of the elder monks. Friar Jean served them wine, and they immediately became very tired. They went to bed and couldn't be roused. I ran to the doctor. When I came back, what did I find? They were all dead. And there's Friar Jean, strangled at his desk.
And so far we have not found any evidence.
Saw a monk right over there, starting a fire he was. A fire, here in the vineyard. Well, I yelled at him to get on out of there, and he ran off.
Okay, someone started a fire. Poisoned by the cask of wine, but I served it. He knew that I'm about to confess, he would not hesitate to murder me himself. Oh, curse the day the predictions of the Nostradamus ever came into Honore's possession. It's quite mad, but he has driven me to madness, but I am. So he says someone who started the fire ran off.
I am very worried about Friar Honoré. He and Friar Jean were quite close. I fear Jean's murder has affected Honoré's sanity.
Hey, there's 2 more clues we have yet to find.
God's will cannot be understood by mortal man. We search and pray and do the best we can. Small hints can be discerned, say, in the writings of prophets. I believe Nostradamus is one.
Hey, so that's very interesting. Right now, Friar Honoré person that I suspect the most. Because Nostradamus was something that clearly is of some importance. Really hate how Eagle Vision is pulled down. We're missing one clue, but so far Friar Honore is the person I suspect the most. I don't know. What we're missing. There's a clue that we're missing. I don't know what it is. Where's the 13th clue? Actually, take a look at the data. Not you play. Not you play. Take a look at the database. I said back to game. See, but I am... Note, Friar Benedict knows that the three monks at their beds were the elders of the order. They became ill after Friar Jean served them wine and went to sleep. Nostradamus is a prophet. So the only thing that I can think of, the only clue we could be missing is relation to the wine. Let's actually back up and try and find the wine that the friar served. Thinking that the wine is anywhere would actually be over here. Where the wine barrels are. But no. Where's the 13? I'm actually gonna look this up because I'm wasting a lot of time. Legend of the monk's dead fist is a crumpled bit of paper apparently torn from a diary. It reads, guilty, I have poisoned him. He claimed it was God's will that I do so because of the prediction, but I cannot escape my guilt. I am a murderer. So I'm predicting his father, Friar Honore. Yeah, it is Father Honore. I was actually right. But probably won't be wrong in future murder mysteries. Somehow, this first murder mystery I actually got wrong. I accused the wrong person. Believe it or not.
God's will cannot be understood by mortal man. We search and pray and do the best we can. Small hints can be discerned. The conspirators were foretold to die in their sleep. Jean was victim of a fratricide. Is it murder to fulfill a prophecy? It's all coming true, I tell you. Even this.
He's a bit off his nut, if you ask me. Arrest the madman. 9 times out of 10, you're right. Go ahead.
Having trouble? It's a tough one, isn't it?
A summary. Friar Honore became obsessed with the predictions of Nostradamus and brought his friend Friar Jean into his obsession. Together they plotted to make one of Nostradamus' predictions come true. Honore poisoned a cask of wine and Jean served it to the elder monks, the eldest of the branches. In filled with remorse, Friar Jean decided to confess and was in the act of writing of his decision diary when he was surprised by Friar Honore, who then strangled Jean with his own rosary beads. Honore then attempted to burn a page of Jean's diary, but was seen by a vineyard worker and ran off in front. So let's do one more. Oh, this actually... Yeah, it is down below. Let's do this Nostradamus riddle. I will to blaze, flanked by justice and law, and strike true and fair hour by hour, for monarchs and peasants alike. Okay, so I think it's actually this place here, so let's go to fast travel. Flanked by justice. Let's take a look at that riddle again. Go to blaze, flanked by justice and law. Try true and fair, hour by hour. Okay, so if this is a justice tower. Huh. I actually don't know the answer to this. I'm actually running out of time, so I'm gonna cheat again. Yeah, so let's actually go back. This is actually where we need to go. We're looking for a clock tower near it. This is just something not obvious. We think that because it's titled Justicia or something, is actually where you need to go, but I guess not. Someone just followed me. Thank you, Soap141141141. Mouthful of a name. Thank you so much for the follow. It really means a lot to me. And just saw you mess something in chat. Sorry, I was kind of tabbed out of the stream, so I didn't notice you say anything. Hello, how are you? Actually, at the tail end of the stream, so once we complete this Nostradamus puzzle, we're actually going to end the live stream.
Don't run off!
There you go.
Ce n'était pas moi. Je le jure sur mon âme. Épargne-moi si...
Encircled by 24 petals of light, Our Lady of the Rose watches silent as stone over believers below. Look to the lady lit by the setting sun. I don't even know what the fuck that means. I'm gonna cheat again. I'm not smart enough for riddles.
Shit. What's this? Not breathing. Not dead long either. Still warm.
There's a guard down below, so I'm just trying to get out of the way. Just saw you message again. Sorry, I was tabbed out. I played into this game and I love it. Yeah, I'm trying to go for the platinum too, technically. I'm playing this on Xbox, but I am going for all achievements. I'm trying to figure out where this location is. They're really trying to be as effective as possible. Looks like it's actually in Notre Dame. It's actually my first live stream of this game. I actually tried to play this. I started playing this when it came out, but I just didn't really give this game a chance. So it's really my first time playing it in several years. But that's not what I want to do.
She's a harsh mistress should you cross her.
Stay with Our Lady, stand between flowing waters, count one for each book of the Pentateuch. From rose to transept, 5 arches, 5 wide open eyes, 5 nightmares. The last at the top are treasure, the gate to the infinite. And again, I have no idea what the heck that means. That's just way too complicated for my plebeian mind. There it is. Okay, so that's actually gonna do it for today. We actually got a lot done. We 100% synchronized sequence 1 and 2. Next time we're actually gonna continue exploring a little bit. We're gonna try and clear out as much as we can this area. We have a few more main missions to do, side missions to do. We have this area to clear out, this area to clear out, and then we're gonna be progressing the main story a little bit. If you are remotely interested in what you see today, all the games I cover on my channel will be for 100% completion. I'm going to be streaming Assassin's Creed Unity yet again next Saturday, 1 p.m. to 4 Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to be streaming Stardew Valley for 100% completion on Sundays, 1 p.m. to 5 Pacific Standard Time. And I'm going to be streaming Sims 3 Pets for 100% completion on Fridays, 1 p.m. to 5 Pacific Standard Time. If you're interested in games you play for 100% completion, know that not only go for 100% in-game statistic, but 100% in achievements as well. That's gonna do it for now. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all next time. Hello everyone, my name is Zach, and welcome to another, well, our first really live post-stream session where we go over all of the new entries for the database. We got a big one because we have done a lot. We got a lot of entries, so we have a lot to read. Things first, let's go into the database and begin. Starting with tutorials, we're actually going to save this for next stream. We're probably going to do this at the beginning of next stream. There is an achievement for completing all the tutorials, so we're going to probably do that at the start of next stream. Go into case files, we have murder. This is something we did, but we have actually already done everything by here, and we already read the new entry. As for Saturnus, all that we got new was the entries that we already read, so we don't need to look into that. Encyclopedia People. General Arnold Victor Dorian. Born to Charles and Marie Dorian in 1768, Arnold appears to have spent most of his early childhood traveling around Europe and North Africa with his father. His mother having left after what was described as a philosophical difference, Philosophical difference here can be taken to mean found out her husband killed people for political reasons. I imagine she was very keen to consciously uncouple from that guy as quickly as possible. Arnold drops out of the historical record until the mid-1780s when his name comes up in several dispatches from the Marshalsea in and around Versailles. Fragmented records identify him as a prisoner in the Bastille in 1789, but he was not among the prisoners liberated when the fortress was stormed. The only other direct reference to an Arnoldorian are in the journals of Napoleon. The entries dated August 17, 1982, October 17, 1995, and May 1808. I'm still working to dig up more details on Arnold's relationship to Napoleon. Suffice to say, they had an interesting friendship, in the way that a philosophical difference can be interesting. Francois de la Serre. Little information about Francois de la Serre survives. A minor nobleman, kept in a estate of Versailles and a smaller house in Paris, was known to be a close confidant of the king and of Mirabeau. His wife Julie died sometime around 1777, and de la Serre was left to raise his daughter Elise on his own. He died under mysterious circumstances in 1789. You see this sort of whitewashing a lot when a notable Templar falls out of favor. Someone steps out of line or fails to keep up with the time, and suddenly the rich tapestry that is a unique, lovely human being is reduced to a historical footnote about how terrible they are. A bit like Americans and their celebrities, really. Honoring Gabriel Riquetti, Comte. I don't know what Comte means. I know D is of Mirabeau. I'm actually gonna look that up. And I'm actually kind of curious how to pronounce that. Wake up, computer. My computer is old and slow. See, this is French, I'm assuming. Comte French. Comte is a French and Occitan word for count. So, pronunciation? That sounds like something else, something a little bit dirty or provocative, but it's pronounced Comte. The translator, the freaking American thing actually sounds like something else, but Honoré Gabriel Riquetti Comte de Mirabeau, born at Les Beignets. I'm probably gonna offend so many French people with my butchering of pronunciation. Les Beignets. Mirabeau suffered a virulent case of smallpox at a young age that left his face scarred with pockmarks. His family was quite wealthy. His father obtained for him a commission in the cavalry, but the army was a poor fit for him. Young Mirabeau became embroiled in an affair with the colonel's wife. When the affair came to light, Mirabeau's father had him imprisoned on the Ile de Ré. He spent many years in and out of prison, always one step ahead of the creditors, more often than not, angry husbands. That's kind of funny. It was a little playboy. Later, when imprisoned at Fort de Joux, he seduced his jailer's wife and escaped with her. Wow, that's funny. He settled in Amsterdam, where he became involved with various occult societies. Later arrested by the police, he was again imprisoned for 3 years in the castle of Vincennes, where he wrote dozens of texts in which he condemned the arbitrary nature of French justice, as well as an essentially pornographic sex erotica biblion. At this point, I should just say this bed-hopping, war-dodging, erotica writing, anti-establishment gigolo sounds like the most French bit ever. I mean, it took Frenchmanhood to write to whole new heights, and when I say Frenchmanhood, I'm talking about his levels of Frenchness, not his French manhood. Actually, I'm talking about that as well. Once released from prison, his life changed when Neuchâtel. He met the Genevese revolutionaries in exile, including financier Etienne Lavière, who would play an important role in Paris. These talented men formed the foundations of Mirabeau's group in political reasoning. They wrote, he signed. This explanation explains his prolific, I can't read, production. Politicians have always used ghostwriters. He attacked the banks in his text in return for payment by another banker, thus allowing him to pay off his mountain of debt. He also attacked French minister Charles Alexander de Cologne, which led to yet another lettre de cachet and his subsequent exile in Prussia, where he acquired the certainty that the middle classes shall only be freed by joining forces with the lower classes. In any case, nobility wanted nothing to do with the strange marquis. At the outset of the revolution, he was elected to represent the Third Estate at the Estates General. For all that, the inspiration for his political workshop lay with his friends. Mirabeau, an exceptional orator, was merely their spokesman. The remainder of his story is better known. His services were paid for by the king as early as October 1789. Even though the court never heeded his advice, proof of his secret dealings with the king came with the discovery of the famous iron chest of the Tuileries Palace, containing, among other things, correspondence and illicit payments. However, by this time he had already been in the grave for 16 months. Prior to his death, when his health, damaged by his excesses, had all but failed him, the last speech was delivered by Talleyrand. An actual fact had been written by Genovese pastor Etienne Salonian Rebaz. Jacques de Molay. Jacques de Molay was born between 1245 and 1250. Now that's long labor. Oh, I get it. Oh, I was kind of confused. He was born, no doubt, in Molay, Haute-Saône. He was received into the order of the Templars at the Bone House in 1265 after the fall of Acre. A general chapter meeting of the order met in Cyprus in September 1291. He was elected Grand Master on April 20th, 1292, and led the Templars to the height of power. Under his influence, the course of European history would change for the better. In 1307, Philip IV of France and Pope Clement V concocted a scheme to destroy the Templar Order. King Philip, deep in debt to the order, drummed up largely unsubstantiated charges of heresy and blasphemy against de Molay and his followers. On October 13th, coordinated raids ended with the arrest of nearly every Templar in France. On May 2nd, 1312, the Pope eventually dissolved the order and gifted all of his assets to the Knights Hospitalier. In March of 1314, Jacques de Molay was burned at the stake. With him died one of the great civilizing forces of Western Europe. In 2001, researchers at the Vatican Street Secret Archives uncovered a document written in 1308 by Pope Clement, which absolved Jacques de Molay on all charges. How the parchment was lost remains a mystery, though I think we can agree it didn't lose itself. King Louis XVI. Louis was never meant to become king, but his father died in 1765, followed by his two older brothers. That's a coincidence. When his grandfather, Louis XV, died in 1774, he came to a throne for which he was ill-prepared. Louis and his wife would fail to provide France with an heir for 7 years, to the derision of the French people. Even the celebrations of the wedding day would end in tragedy. With the death of 100 Parisians following a stampede at a fireworks display, and the indecisive men, in the words of one deputy, the king spent his whole life saying each evening that he was mistaken that same morning. As his younger brother, the future Charles X, would say, not without irony, trying to get Louis to hold to a position was like trying to hold greased billiard balls together. Amazingly, that phrase never caught on really, but then trying to get a phrase to catch on is like oiling a hammer and expecting a cat to marry it. You can use that one if you like. His 19-year reign would become increasingly agitated since the court was incapable of reform. Louis XV had merely covered up the nation's problems without actually resolving anything. His heir wished to be called Louis the Severe, in contrast with the permissiveness and debauchery of his grandfather. As far as public opinion was concerned, he would be Louis the Weak. Never mind Louis the Weak, there were so many men called Louis around you could have had a Louis of the Weak. What decisions he actually managed to make turned against him. With the war with England to support Franklin and Washington would ruin the kingdom, and by 1789, a desperate France had reached a state of virtual bankruptcy. This situation was exacerbated by the trade treaty with London. The British, who were way ahead of the French technologically, inundated France with their industrial products, spelling ruin for French artisans. Some of these products would even be used in the revolutionary riots. While food shortages were due to bad crops and weather, there were those who were hungry blamed them on the rich. Meanwhile, pampered and pensioned in Versailles, far away from their roots, nobility had become another adversary that would further undermine the system. The same went for the lower orders of the clergy, who shared the general misery of their flock. The king didn't see it coming. The nobles would bring about a revolution to which they would fall victim. And in summer of 1791, when the revolution heating up, Louis approved the perilous plan to secretly flee from Paris to the supposedly loyal troops of the East. The royal family's arrest at Versailles would spell the end of the absolute monarchy. On August 10th, when the grounds of the Tuileries were invaded, Louis took refuge in the National Assembly, but the damage was done. Shortly thereafter, he was stripped of his power, arrested, and sent to the medieval fortress of the Temple, and from there to his doom. His trial was brief, and ultimately, only for show, the witnesses who testified in his favor were massacred into instances, while the documents that could have proved him innocent were not passed to his defenders. In short, it was a travesty. Judges had all but decided on the verdict from the onset. The absolute monarch, who didn't even reign over his court, was influenced by all those who surrounded him. What should I do? He asked a reactionary French writer Reveal in September 1789. Act like a king, came the reply. If only Louis, who had a passion for geography and great exploration, and whose hobbies were locksmithing and carpentry, was simply not cut out for the job. In my experience, you should never trust a man who lists his hobby as locksmith. That is interesting. I wonder why they don't normally show people from birth to death, essentially. Because I'm pretty sure there's a mission where we actually see Louis XVI die. I could be wrong. Pierre Bellegue, born in New France sometime around 1740, Pierre Bellegue joined the French colonial militia at the age of 16. At the start of the 7 Years' War, he served with some distinction, earning a commendation for valor at the Battle of Fort Bull, but muttered out and traveled to France in 1762. As luck would have it, he just barely missing a massive purge of the colonial branch of the Brotherhood by the Templar. Seven Years' War. I think that actually took place in the Americas, if I remember correctly. I believe this actually took place at the same time as Rogue. I think the conflict that took around at that time was the 7 Years' War. Don't worry, those didn't happen anymore, but hardly ever. You know what? Lock your doors just to be safe. He seems to have settled in Paris, judging from the numerous arrest records in his name over the past 2 decades. He may have been at the Bastille in 1789, but no conclusive proof naming him as one of the prisoners has ever resurfaced. Oops. One thing that we missed was Elise de la Serre. The only daughter of Francois Julie de la Serre, Elise grew up in a modestly wealthy but incredibly privileged environment. As a member of the aristocracy in the waning days of the Ancien regime, she had access to the finest tutors, medicine, and food available. After her mother's death in 1778, Elise spent a great deal of time traveling, including several years of study in Paris. It is likely she was getting a healthy dose of Templar training and indoctrination during this time. Must be nice to get your training along the French Riviera. I had to make do with a leaky shed in Wolverhampton. After her father's death, she seems to have vanished from a documented history, likely as a result of revolutionary efforts to purge records of the nobility, or the Templars trying to cover up one of their regime changes. The other thing that we missed was Escu de Floreg. I don't know who you are. Were you from the flashback? Yeah, I think you are a coprior of the convent of Montfaucon, Esquel. I don't know how that's supposed to be pronounced. I've been in prison at the same time as a renegade Templar. Esquel, I don't know how that's pronounced. And this unnamed Templar confided in each other, where upon the Templar allegedly revealed a great many vices and misdeeds within the order. Upon the strength of his evidence, he ordered the poor knights of the Temple of Solomon and the Knights Templar were rounded up and destroyed. Okay, groups. SAS General Deputies. In March 1789, elections were held to select the 578 deputies of the 3 estates. The list of deputies included such men as Robespierre, Monier, Barnave, Sayes, and the Comte de Mirabeau, who, although a noble, chose to sit as a deputy of the 3rd estate. Most of the men who comprised the 3rd estate were in their late 30s, 20s, or early 30s. The plain black clothes worn by the deputies of the 3rd estate contrasted sharply with the luxurious, brightly colored garments of the nobles and clergy. Also, they were very slimming. And the 3rd estate. In the 1st estate was the church, and the 2nd estate was nobility. The 3rd estate was everyone else. It comprised beggars, peasants, and bourgeois, notaries, doctors, lawyers, artisans, bankers, and even scholars, who at the time represented approximately 96% of the population. I don't think that means 96% of the population were scholars. If it did, this would be one terrifically nerdy time period. I dare say you and I would have fit rather well. The pamphlet entitled "What is the 3rd Estate?" Published in 1789. Sayers wrote, "What is the 3rd estate? Everything. What has it been until now in the political order? Nothing. What does it ask? To become something. Nothing be done without it. Everything will be infinitely better without the other 2 orders." Paris stories. Eugene Francois Vidocq. Born in 1775, Vidocq was but a lad during the French Revolution. He spent his youth as a petty thief and was frequently in jail. However, his association with thieves was to prove beneficial. By the Napoleonic era, he was working as an informant for the police and eventually became a complete policeman himself. They usually say crime doesn't pay. For this fellow, it not only paid, but came with a pension and medical. In fact, he was one of the forefathers of the deductive method of crime solving and founded a unit that grew to become the Sûreté, France's premier crime-fighting organization. He always worked both sides of the law, but his criminal friends proved invaluable to him as a detective. Location. Bridges. Port Neuf. This new bridge was now the oldest existing bridge in Paris. The laying of the first stone on May 31st. I just realized we're 20 minutes in. We still have a lot to go over. Laying the first stone on the May 31st, 1578 was a tearful occasion for Henry III, who had just lost 2 of his favorite mignons in a duel. I don't know what mignons is. That's a word that's not in my vocabulary. The king was coming out of the funeral service and it was raining, always ready for the laugh. The Parisians subsequently dubbed the bridge Le Pont des Pleurs, or the Bridge of Tears. The Pont Neuf was a unique bridge in its time, the first to be built in stone, the widest and the most accessible, and unlike the other bridges of Paris back then, no houses were built along the bridge's spans. Pont Notre Dame. Although many times destroyed and replaced in the early 1400s, a few wooden planks served the purpose. Some form of bridge existed at this spot in Paris since nearly the founding of the city. The bridge was historically lined with houses, but these proved to put too much of a burden on the bridge's stability. And Pont Rouge. Wooden and painted bridge linking the 2 islets. The Pont Rouge survived the revolution, but was soon destroyed and eventually replaced by the Pont St. Louis. I was probably pronounced St. Louis, if I'm going to be honest here. Churches. Notre Dame de Paris. Notre Dame de Paris was the foremost monument in Paris in the historic heart of the capital. As part of this is the point from which all milestones on the roads of Paris are measured. Built over the course of nearly a century, from 1163 to 1250, it was one of the first buildings in Europe to employ flying buttresses, which allow for much higher and thinner walls around the choir and the nave. First thing and last thing I want in your choir is a thinner wall. Lock them in, then soundproof the bugger, please. The flying buttresses also provide the support necessary for the inclusion of the church's famous and astonishing rose windows. During the Revolution, the Great Cathedral was variously used as food storage and a church dedicated to the cult of reason, and later, the cult of the Supreme Being. Many of its greatest treasures were looted, and in 1793, an angry mob decapitated the statues of the biblical kings of Judah that adorned Notre Dame, mistaking them for the former kings of France. This is what happens when the uneducated lose their heads. Only the 10 great bells survived unscaled. The damage inflicted would not be repaired until 1845. Oops. The other thing that we have is a Saint Chapelle. The Saint Chapelle, or the Holy Chapel, is built by Louis IX, later canonized by St. Louis, to house Christ's crown of thorns, which he had just purchased from Baldwin II of Constantinople. Louis purchased the crown of thorns. That means, Louis purchased the crown of thorns. That means, Christ then traveled into the future to buy the crown of thorns from Baldwin II of Constantinople. He had ready access to thorns in biblical times. He didn't need to go all the way to Constantinople to find some bloke called Baldwin II. Also, Baldwin II. So Baldwin I suffered through life with that god-awful name and then decided to give it to his son as well. Some people. The edifice of it is a unique example of seemingly invisible stonework, since its windows take up all the space between the structural supports. Perhaps more extraordinary is that it was built in just 2 years, between 1246 and 1248. Believe me, I'm very familiar with the European builders. Nothing else in their history has ever been built in just 2 years. Not even a small wall or miniature water feature. It is set on 2 levels. The lower level is for Parisians and the people of the court. The upper level is for the king and his family. On important occasions, the king presented the crown, taken from the reliquary, to which he alone had the key, to the kneeling congregation. It came close to being demolished during the Revolution, but would eventually be used as a flower store, a club room for the Section de la Cité, and finally a store for archiving old papers, which effectively saved it since it served the people. It bore a sign proclaiming national property for sale until 1837. All the sacred vessels and precious books had long since disappeared. I'm actually going to go back to... Stop going twice. I'm trying to go to districts. Le Marais, located in the heart of Paris, the Marais district's finest hours will come during the 17th century, when many aristocrats who lived there transformed it into a fashionable district. In the 18th century, the nobility gradually abandoned the district in favor of the Faubourg Saint-Honoré or the Faubourg Saint-Germain. In spite of this departure, the Marais would always retain its image as an aristocratic district, which meant that with the coming of the Revolution, writers would set about destroying the many symbols of royalty and nobility that were found there. It was a wonderfully convenient sort of one-stop shop for those of the riotous persuasion. With the Revolution, the district changed progressively. The abandoned townhouses were taken up by merchants who formed warehouses or workshops. Beautiful homes were thus preserved, and so the Marais became inhabited by more modest people who kept shops or practiced craft trades, which in turn gave way to small factories and semi-industrialized trades of the 19th century. Village de Versailles. When Louis XIII built his first hunting lodge in the village of Versailles in 1623, it was surrounded by vast forests where the king could indulge in his favorite sports. It was his son, Louis XIV, who decided to make it the central point of France. In the 1660s, he decided to construct a chateau commensurate with his ambition to control the French state. In actual fact, he left Paris behind for fear of the revolts he had known as a child during the Fronde. In short, he no longer wanted to be subject to the fervor of the Parisian crowds. Between 1665 and 1680, some 25,000 men and 6,000 horses busied themselves daily. One team worked days, the other nights by the torchlight. The church apparently tolerated work on Sundays. The French king wanted the magnificence of the palace to reveal his unequal power to the rest of Europe, as capable of forcing nature as he was of imposing his law of the world. Versailles was a showcase. Something short of perfection would be tolerated. I found it hard enough to install decking, mind you. I didn't have 6,000 horses to help me, not that they're much good with hammers. The village of Versailles would also quickly develop, if only to accommodate all the courtiers. In 1682, they numbered 6,000. By 1690, their number had reached 10,000. To ensure their continued presence in Versailles, King Louis XIV determined that all buildings erected in Versailles be non-liable to seizure before death, which made the village particularly attractive. Louis XV and Louis XVI would both make a great many changes at the chateau while transforming the village into a hub from which the royal administration exerted its power. It was in the Salle des Ministres? I probably mispronounced that. Definitely mispronounced that. Literally the room of lesser pleasures, essentially a storeroom for royal decorations and disguises that the Estates General were held in May 1789. General Conciergerie. This palace was the seat of the kings of France from the 10th century to the middle of the 14th, when Charles V abandoned it for the Louvre. By the early 13th century, it was primarily used as a prison, though the name Conciergerie, from concierge, keeper of the royal palace, stuck. At the time of the Revolution, the Conciergerie was the main prison in Paris, where many of us last stop before execution, which earned it the nickname antechamber at the guillotine. The conciergerie, that's such a hard word for me to pronounce, was also called the most lucrative furnished lodging in Paris. Prisoners were allowed to rent a bed for 27 livres a month, but since many were executed after a few days, jailers could rent out the same bed sometimes 10 times a month. Hotel des Plaisirs, built at the command of Louis XV to house an organization responsible for preparing royal ceremonies and festivals. The Hotel des Plaisirs in Versailles is most famous as a site of the Estates General in 1789. During the Revolution, it served variously as a courthouse, barracks, and bread distribution center. Much of the historic building was destroyed in 1800 when the property was sold to private citizens. Today, the site is home to the Centre de Baroque Musique de Versailles. Les Catacombs. The left bank of Paris is built on rich limestone deposits, the stone from which built much of the city. Initially, the stone was mined well out from the city proper. I just heard my dad get mad. But as Paris expanded, it gradually covered even the mined out areas. Since medieval mining involved digging a well down to the stone deposits and then traveling horizontally until the vein was depleted, the result was a vast, intricate maze of tunnels beneath the streets. A series of building collapses beginning in 1774 proved that the tunnels could no longer be ignored. In 1782, Police Lieutenant Thoreau de Crosney decided to act. I wish they decided to do something about the situation, not that he decided to put on a small play. Thoreau had the quarries within an area of 240 hectares surveyed and registered. He saw the old mine shafts as an opportunity to solve another pressing problem, what to do with the bones of hundreds of thousands dead people from the innocent cemetery, which were so densely packed that they literally spilled out into the basements of adjoining buildings. Sleep well tonight. Thanks to Thoreau, 6 million deceased were crammed into the quarry, sometimes 30 meters thick. Among their mortal remains were those of Thoreau himself, along with 1,800 victims of the September massacres of 1792. Later architects transformed the caverns into a proper mausoleum, complete with the following epigraph by poet Jacques Delisle. Stop, here lies the empire of death. Bones and skulls were arranged in intricate patterns, and special chambers were set up museum-like to display samples of the various types of stone found beneath Paris, and the innumerable skeletal deformities to be found among the catacombs inhabitants. These unusual aesthetics have made the catacombs a popular tourist destination since the early 1800s. Yeah, for sickos. Newspaper stands and printing presses. One of the most spectacular aspects of commerce during the reactionary period was the boom of printing, driven by the explosion in the number of publications. Before 1789, censorship tightly controlled the production of literary works, including periodicals. Within the Revolution, however, the printing industry blossomed. In June 1789, only 5 newspapers were on sale. By December the same year, the figure had risen to 130. Among the most important papers of the Revolution were Camille Moulins, Le Vieux Cordelier, Jacques Brisset, Guerndis, Le Patria Francois, Jacques Rain Heberts, Le Père Duchin, I don't know how to pronounce that, and Jean-Paul Marat, L'Ami du Pupil. These papers reached a huge number of Parisians, even those who were unfamiliar with reading, since it was not uncommon to find individuals who read articles aloud in the middle of the street to persuade them. I'm sorry, I had garlic fries for lunch today, and I've been kind of burping garlic. Even like during the stream that I just finished like an hour ago. I just keep on like burping garlic, and every single time I stop and I burp, I just taste garlic. So that's what kept on happening when I was reading that. Place Dauphine, in 1601, Henry IV announced that a public square, triangular in fact, would be created and given to the first president of the Parliament, Archel de la Harlay, who had remained loyal to Henry during the wars of religion. Harlay divided the square, situated away from the traffic on the bridge, into 12 lots in 1608. The houses built were rented by artisans, tailors, printers, booksellers, and the officers of the nearby Palais de Justice. Up until 1633, one of the main attractions of the square, then a clutter of little houses, was a trestle stage used by the famous Parisian French parser Tarvarin, who put on short Italian-style performances with his brother in their little theater group. His motto was, "The world is merely deceived by charlatans." Acting the Tabarin of Frere de Tiburon in French became a proverb that literally no one has ever used. Statue of Henry IV, the original horse was cast in Florence and shipped to Paris in 1614 to await his king. The stallion stood riderless on Pons pedestal for 21 years and was referred by the Parisians simply as the bronze horse. At last, a rider was made, Henry IV, the Protestant king, who, before taking the crown, survived the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre. To stabilize his throne, he converted to Catholicism, possibly uttering the apocryphal remark, "Paris is worth a mass." Although much beloved by his people, he was assassinated while riding in his carriage by religious fanatic Francois Revelec. In 1610, during the Revolution, the spot on which his statue stands was used as a meeting point and even as a recruiting office for volunteers willing to fight the Prussians. The Bastille. The Bastille was one of the many construction projects undertaken by Charles V and was intended to protect the Porte Saint-Antoine Gate and its adjoining St. Paul Palace. As centuries wore on, the fortress became less useful as a fortification. It was used more and more often as a prison, finally being completely dedicated to that purpose under the reign of Louis XIII. The prisoners held there, who rarely numbered more than 40 each year, were most commonly political prisoners. By 1789, the Bastille was deemed useless and was costly to maintain, with 250 soldiers for a mere 9 prisoners. I had an idea for how to bring the cost down. Hire 247 soldiers. Their system was like having a plane with 1 seat but hundreds of captains. Hang on, that sounds brilliant. There wasn't at a time when Paris was packed with prisons of all shapes and sizes, and nonetheless it was seen as a symbol of the oppression of the ancien regime. And when the French Revolution broke out, it was one of the first buildings to be looted and destroyed. The revolutionaries' quarry became quite literally that, as a mob demolished the building and put its stones to better use. Some of the stones were used to consolidate the Pont de la Concorde. Others were taken as individual or collective relics. Many were carved into tiny models of the entire fortress and sold as souvenirs. Cafe Theater. Opened on Ile Saint Louis in 1759, the Cafe Theater was one of Paris's premier coffee houses for decades. Intellectual poets, philosophers, and actors flocked to its tables, and the salon was the center for political debate and discussion. Over the years, though, characters like the Cafe Prologue gradually supplanted it in prominence. By 1790, the Cafe Theater was shabby, a rundown place, more likely to host a second-rate body comedy show than an impassioned debate. It experienced a resurgence during the Revolution, and even opened several satellite locations around Paris, and remained a fixture of the city's intelligentsia through World War I. It was also a central clearinghouse of the Parisian Brotherhood's intelligence gathering network, a concept that is so adorably French I don't even have words for it. I just want this fucking thing to be done. I had no idea how many freaking entries there are. I've been recording for 36 minutes. Hospice des Enfants Troops. Meticulous chronicler Sebastian Mercier left evidence of the tens of thousands of children abandoned in Paris. Mercier spoke of these exposed children who were often left on the steps of churches. The most famous being among them was the philosopher de Lambert, or in the towers of convents, Hospital de la Charité, or Charity Hospital, was supposed to accommodate them with the income from church and fines, but new facilities were needed. With the financial support of Chancellor de Alagre, a city square and a market bear his name. Queen Maria Theresa founded this hospital in 1670. Situated on what is now the Square Trousseau, a subsidiary establishment would be built on the forecourt of Notre Dame. Palaces de Justice. This ancient and ornate building that overlooks the Tour de l'Horloge, I don't know how to pronounce that, with its elaborate clock featuring figures of justice and law, was initially built by 1296 by Philip IV of France. In spite of his financial worries, it was here that he consolidated the dispensation of justice, although the judges soon came to be infamous for their corruption. During the revolution, the Palais housed the most much feared revolutionary tribunal. I'm having a lot of issues reading. I've been reading for 37 minutes straight. A palace of Versailles, originally a hunting lodge built for Louis XIII, the Palace of Versailles was expanded to one of the largest palaces in the world, the seat for the French monarchy under the reign of his successor Louis XIV. The royal family abandoned the palace for the Tuileries in Paris at the outset of the French Revolution. After the king's arrest, Versailles, along with all royal possessions, were confiscated and sealed. Furnishings were sold at auction in 1793 and 1794 was turned into a museum. They got rid of everything in it, then turned it into a museum. What were people supposed to look at? Small signs saying a fancy chair used to sit here? Despite the various restorations, empires, and revolutions that followed, Versailles would never again be a center of political power. And Misk. Events. States Journal was 1789. God, this we still do. States Journal was 1789. The States Journal was the General Assembly representing the three classes of estates: a French society, the clergy, the first estate, the nobility, the second estate, and the peasantry, the third estate. The States General is not a legislative body like the English Parliament, rather its role to advise the king, with whom all authority lay. I've often imagined what it might be like to be a king. I think my first role would be to make all crime illegal. Boom, just like that, you're welcome. It was infrequently called before the onset of the Revolution. The last meeting of the Estates General was in 1614. The Estates General sat for several weeks in May and June 1789 to address the financial crisis facing the realm, thanks in no small part to the French government's role in financing the American Revolution. The meeting quickly came to an impasse over the first item of the agenda, however, whether the Estates General should vote collectively by estate, which would give an advantage to the first and second estate, or vote individually, which would give the more numerous third estate the advantage. Deadlocked, the deputies of the third estate began to discuss political reforms rather than the financial crisis that had been on the original agenda. The meeting of the States General dissolved and the third estate declared itself the National Assembly and announced that it would conduct the nation's affairs. First and second estates were invited to join the assembly, but it was clear which way the political wind was blowing. The French Revolution was beginning. Actually, go ahead and start with this, because this is what we saw first. Persecution of the Templars under Philip the Fair. When Philip IV came, France, known as Philip the Fair, came to the throne in October 1285, he was determined to organize the kingdom's finances. The crown of France was in substantial debt to the Order of the Knights Templar, which had become an order of rich bankers. In order to seize his fortunes and destroy his political importance, Philip the Fair decreed the order dissolved. He promptly arrested all the Templars in France and urged other European sovereigns to follow suit. Arrested in Paris in 138. Arrested in Paris, I should say. 138 Templars faced the accusations of Guillaume Hébert de Paris of the Inquisition in France. Among other blasphemies, the Templars were accused of worshipping an idol, Baphomet. Legend has it that as execution, Jacques Molay placed a deadly curse on his accusers. Pope Clement, Chevalier de Guillaume de Nogret, King Philip has summoned you to the tribunal of heaven for the years out. Curse you, curse you, curse you, curse you all until the 13th generation of your progeny. Storming of the Bastille. With the price of bread at an all-time high in July 1789, Paris is on the brink of revolt. Believe me, at that stage it had been revolting for some time. When word reached the city that Louis XVI had dismissed his financial minister, it was taken as a sign of the impending coup attempt by conservative factions within the government. Seeking to arm themselves against this coup, a procession of radicals gathered and headed for the left bank, where they seized some 40,000 muskets from the armory at the Hotel des Invalides. However, there was no powder or shot to be had, so the revolutionary made for Bastille. At the time, there were over 30,000 pounds of powder and shot stored within the prison. The governor, Bernard René de Launay, had less than 100 men, mainly veteran soldiers and Swiss guards, hold the prison against perhaps 1,000 insurgents. De Launay refused to surrender, and his forces were quickly overwhelmed. The powder was seized, and the prisoners, all 7 remaining in the Bastille, were freed. When told of the attack by the Duke of La Rochefoucauld, King Louis XVI was reported to ask his revolt. The Duke replied, "No, sir, it is a revolution. You say tomato, I say tomato. You say tomato, I say tomato." Actually, that doesn't work quite so well written down. Items: Cockade. A circle of ribbons usually worn on a hat. The cockade of the revolution represented the colors we see today as the French flag: blue, white, and red, and sometimes known as a tricolor. The idea of the three-color flag was presented to Louis XVI by Lafayette during their meeting at the Hotel de Ville on July 17, 1789. As the blue and red colors of the cockade of Paris, Lafayette decided to added the white cockade of the monarchy, conferring upon the sovereign a central role in the new definition of powers. Whether the king didn't last, but the symbol did. Songs: Les Marseillaise. On April 20th, 1792, the European Assembly declared war on the King of Bohemia and Hungary. The homeland was in danger and had to be defended at any cost. A few days later, at the request of the mayor of Strasbourg, a young officer, Roget de Lisle, is sang a rather violent song which he had composed for the army of the Rhine. Allons enfants, that's all French. I'm not going to read all that. There is a translation. Arise, children of the fatherland, the day of glory has arrived. Against us, tyranny raises its bloody barrier. Do you hear in the countryside the war of those ferocious soldiers? They're coming right into your arms to cut the throats of your sons and women. Armed citizens, form your battalions. Let us march like the impure blood water of your furrows. Music is said to be inspired from a Mozart concerto. In fact, the song was not made popular by the army of the Rhine, but by the volunteers from Marseille, who would take up the song and gradually transform it into an anthem, La Marseillaise, and the rallying cry to the French Revolution, and embodied the values it sought to spread along its conquest. And Prize to La Bastille, composed in 1790, the song glorifies the events around July 14th, 1789, and recounts the episode that led to the taking of the Bastille. Rather than surrender, Bastille's governor de Launay chose to resist. The text is unusual in that the taking of the Bastille is attributed to bourgeoisie and not to the people in general. I'm really getting tired of reading. Newspaper: Journal de Paris, 1789. New decrees from the National Assembly. Many a hateful law had been abolished, from seigneurial courts, game rights, and the buying of the magistral positions to immunities from taxation and undeserved pensions. They vow more is to come. A brilliant citizen scientist, Laplace, Concorde, Borda, and Lavoisier will publish a serialized introduction to and defense of the proposed metric system, coming soon to the Journal de Paris. La Bande Nord, dubious auctions going. A private auction will be held at 12 de blah 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 on the 14th of Messidor. in dire need of sturdy wood and stone to repair your abode and our baptismal fond to remember the old ways. Knock 4 times, ask for Flavian. No question asked to the provenance or will be answered. Me Tussaud's peculiar skill, the extraordinary Marie Tussaud is able to fashion lifelike figures out of mere wax. You would swear our works are about to breathe, although many of our models have breathed their last. So I'm just gonna say this, whenever I see phrases in French, I'm just gonna skip it. I feel like I'm offending so many people from France, or French in general, just by me butchering their language. It's a beautiful language, I just can't pronounce it. I'm a stupid American. Journal de Paris, 1791. The roads of France are open to all trade citizens. A reformation we started by tearing down the tax farmers' walls now sees as a natural conclusion. France not truly unified by these acts. In the wake amidst deliveries, a terrible crop in price irregularities, the bakers of Saint Marco and Saint Antoine and Saint Denis have asked for calm. They cannot bake bread without grain, and violence won't feed anyone's families. Archer Joseph Guillotine is attempting to make a mockery of public executions instead of proper beheadings, breakings upon the wheel, or simple hangings. He is proposing that a machine execute the guilty in a clean, efficient manner. Nothing could be more absurd. Executions are meant to give warnings to the populace. The more brutal, the better. It's kind of funny. You're talking about the guillotine being made and of it being a clean, efficient manner. Oftentimes, the guillotine, when it was used, it was actually common for it to not, like, cut through the head clearly. So there'll be oftentimes where there'll be a part of the neck that is not severed. So they would have to do it again. So that's a little dark history about the guillotine that many people probably aren't aware of. Mille Montiers, another wonderful performance. One dreams of sojourning in the midst of her plunging neckline. Do not ask this poor soul which place she was starring in. Very little seems important when her dainty figure finally makes an appearance on the theater. The Lambigu comique stage. Better tricolor, proudly good citizen. Show your support for a new order. One more noble than 10,000 aristocrats, an era of liberty. Society built on the principle that all men are indeed equal. Le Patriot, 1789. Latude escapes again. Years ago, Jean-Henri Latude made quite a career of his exploits, escaping from the prison of Vincennes in the Bastille. Did I meet him? Then Vincennes again. This time, Albert escaped from a crowd of well-wishers trying to shake his hand. The crowd pressed a bit closely for the escape artist, and he was compelled to rush away. Jacques back, following the hubbub, we all rightfully raised on his behalf. The king has eased off and reappointed Necker to oversee the king's finance, of course, the country's finances. You're here for King Louis. Mille Lenormand, seer of the old city, the Ile de la Cité had its own symbol. Mille Lenormand was able to see one's future using unique tarot cards, signed by the woman herself, that yourself to a peek into the what is soon to be. The good Marquis de Lafayette had been confirmed as Commander-in-Chief of the National Guard. With him in charge, order is no doubt to be swiftly restored. The troubles of the past weeks are done them damask silks. Republicanism, violence, surely Monsieur de Moulins paints a rather bellicose picture. Carrying on turn to reason and dialogue rather than to blows. With all the advances made in this age enlightenment, brutality would seem rather out of place. And lastly, that Patriot, 1791. The armies of the French Prince Bishop and his allies now threaten our brothers in liege. The young republic cannot withstand the might of the Habsburg machine for long. Should they seek shelter in France, will not turn them away. The onlookers were seen at yesterday's representation of La Barrière de Seville. It is believed, in light of recent events, that the upper crust aura surrounding the outlandish playwright Beaumarchais has kept merrymakers at bay. Unknown rogues have made off with the selection of the crown jewels, as these are part of the treasury of France. Those guilty are not only thieves but traitors. Deport any suspicious pawners at once. Citizen Mirabeau has won election to the post of the president of the National Constituent Assembly after a long buried a mostly distinguished career. The respect he has earned from all sides should help France get things done. I really want to stop reading. I'm so freaking out of it. While the appeal of owning a piece in the Bastille may find favor with some misguided few, the royal director of the buildings is of a different and certainly legally superior opinion. He asks that you please assist in the practice. Okay. Les Miserables. Sean here. Look, I just want to get this out of the way because as soon as anyone mentions the French Revolution, someone else's eyes light up and they start singing. Do you hear the people sing? In that weird way people do when they're both talking and singing at the same time, and then I have to listen to a god-awful rendition of the song from that god-awful musical that I seriously start to consider tapping my fingers in a door just so I have something else to think about. The French Revolution, the 1 year in, started in 1789. Have you got that? Les Miserables, the novel by Victor Hugo, later turned into a musical by someone who very clearly hates me personally and is dead set on making my life a living, breathing hell, was set in Paris in the time period between 1815 and 1832, which was an entirely different revolution. You're looking for Jean Valjean? Alright, he's not here. Anyway, I prefer cats. It's formally... Oh my god. There is, if cats is a thing that I'm thinking of, there's a bit of a controversy behind that. And again, I'm not sure if this is actually the case. I remember there was a controversy with a play or a musical called Cats, where the characters presented and then were actually mocked because they actually showed the butthole for the person in Cats, which I thought was hilarious. Probably a different version that Sean is referring to, but that's what my mind comes across in my plebeian, basic bitch mind. That's what my mind goes to. Find that's hilarious. Welcome to the database. Hello, we haven't met, but you can call me Sean. I just thought I'd say Symphostergo has put together a rather lovely historic database that you can peruse as you're running around. Unfortunately for you, their historian gave things that have, well, let's just say that particular viewpoint they're keen to get across. Of which I mean they're Templars and they think like Templars and they lie about people who aren't Templars. So I'm just going to go through and add in some explanatory footnotes as I go to give you a bit more of a balanced perspective. Well, I'll try for balance. I'll aim for it. Balance is certainly something worth striving for, or at least thinking about. Or maybe I'll just mention it here and you can be on your own judge. Also, and far be it from me to criticize because they've given it quite some effort, but the way I write this history is dry as a phrase, dry cleaned, dry thing with a particular chronic case of dry mouth, which has been left out in the sun and then popped in the oven. So let me at least attempt to make it that smidgen more readable. Although that's the last time I'll ever use the word smidgen. Finally done. Again, we will go over the tutorials next time. In the meantime, I need to take a break and rest my poor old throat. Fortunately, I do not have my stream deck popped up, so I'm actually have to go over to OBS and hit stop record.